Welcome back to Insights. And today, Brent, we are kind of focusing on a different topic because it's a topic where you and I haven't exactly landed in terms of our own beliefs, but nevertheless, we want to talk about this and encourage everybody that's watching to seek the Lord on this as well. And the topic is, you probably noticed, has to do with the eclipse that just happened in August. So, Brent, what are your thoughts?
Well, Dave, can I just take us back to when the 4 blood moons happened? I remember I was going out for a walk. It was after the first one that happened, and it was during the summer, and I was going for a walk, and I was asking the Lord, people say some things can happen after these. What happened? And all of a sudden, he brought ISIS to my mind. And I was like, whoa, that has happened after this first blood moon. And you look at what's gone on in the world since that, it's gotten intense. And so now here comes the solar eclipse that just happened of recent. And, people talk about that this is more geared towards the Gentiles. This is what the Jews talk about. It's more geared towards the Gentiles. And you look at our nation, and it just happened to be over our nation. And then we see Harvey hit, and very devastating, probably the most devastating storm that's happened since Hurricane Katrina or in our nation. And so you see all these things going on, and it's like, what is happening? And it makes you really want to seek the Lord, Dave. What is God trying to communicate? That's where I feel like my heart is in this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely caught my attention as well that since Hurricane Harvey, which affected 85% of Houston, it's brought devastation to that city, and it's having ripple effects around our country. But it's interesting that it happened right after that eclipse. And there's a number of passages that we'll put up on the screen that talk about that God will give us signs through the sun, moon, and stars. And also sort of interesting related to all of this is, as Brent just kind of touched on, that typical Jewish traditions taught that a lunar eclipse was related to judgment coming to the Jews, but a solar eclipse was judgment coming to the Gentiles. And so, again, it's hard to exactly land the plane on this. Is this eclipse, or as you were highlighting a little bit ago, even the blood moons, are these signs in the sun, moon, and stars, and this is what God was intending to send us in terms of signals? Or do we have something else that we need to learn about all this? So we're just sort of sorting this out, aren't we, Brent?
Yeah, Dave, another thing. After Hurricane Harvey, both President Trump and Vice President Pence both said, we will rebuild. And we've been kind of hearing that since 9/11. And if I look at our nation since 9/11, things have just ramped up more and more. I don't think it's really about us rebuilding. I think it's about us humbling ourselves, turning to the Lord and crying out for mercy. That's what I think, the action I feel. And that's what I'm saying. God, what are you saying through this? And let's listen out. If it says in the scriptures that God uses these things as signs, what's he communicating to us? And I think much like we look on a tablet or an iPad, I think God uses the stars to communicate things to us. What we need to do is listen and hear what he's saying, Dave.
Mm-hmm. And it's not the first time he's done something like this. I mean, the Star of Bethlehem, God sent a clear message through that Star of Bethlehem about Jesus' first coming. So it's not like we can, as intellectual Westerners, like we can just dismiss all of this. We have to grapple with it. And we're encouraging you to grapple with this as well. So thank you for joining us on Insights. We'll be back next week.